Vibrant
music teaching.
Proven and practical
Tips,
strategies,
and ideas
for music teachers.
You're listening to the Vibrant Music Teaching Podcast. I'm Nicola Canton, and in this episode we're talking about how to attract more adult students to your studio. Hey there, beautiful teachers. So this episode is all about adult students and how to gain more of them in your studio. First, let's talk about why you would want to, because many teachers, many teaching forums and things, you'll see teachers talking about their adult students and sort of bemoaning them, complaining about how they miss lessons all the time, or they don't practice, or they want this, or they want that, or they have unrealistic expectations. So with all that in mind, why would you want more adult students in your studio? Well, for other teachers, these are their favorite students, for almost the same and opposite reason. These adult students, yes, they have specific goals and expectations in mind. That means they have specific goals in mind. They know what they want, and they're motivated to try and achieve that. Now, they might not always practice the way they want to, but they always have those goals in mind, and you can come back to them in your discussions with them. You can also talk to them on the same level. I mean, I believe you should talk to all your students to some degree in that way. But adult students, I mean, they're fellow adults, so they understand what you're saying. You don't need to explain basic words and concepts that they're going to grasp. So they can sometimes be easier to teach. They're also there because they chose to be there. I don't have any kids that their parents are forcing them into lessons, because I believe that's a recipe for disaster. But, kids aren't really making entirely their own decision to be there, are they? They're supported by a parent who's suggested that idea to them or encouraged them to continue. An adult student came up with this idea by themselves, and they want to be there. They chose to learn piano. So, yeah, they might not stick around as long as it's kiddos always, but they definitely have the potential to do so. And you shouldn't ever have an adult student sitting in a lesson scowling at you or having a temper tantrum on the floor. If you do, I think you've got bigger problems than attracting adult students into your studio. Another benefit of having adult students is that you only have one customer. For our kiddos, we actually have two customers at least. We have the child, who we have to please and have fun lessons with, otherwise the parents are going to let them quit if they hate it. And then we have the parent who wants their child to achieve certain things, they want certain policies, they want this and they want that. An adult student is on their own. They decide whether they take lessons, they decide whether they agree with your policies, they schedule their own lessons. It's just them. And so that does remove some of the complication, doesn't it? It also means no dealing with sticky fingers, pedal extenders, fuzzy toys, yo-yos, finger putty, crayons, all the things that I love putting into lessons. If you hate all that stuff, and if you hate being a bit of a performer, I guess, even in an introverted way, then maybe adult students are a better fit for you. If you don't want to sing and dance and jump around and have students on and off the bench and be getting up and down off the floor, maybe preschoolers and youngest students are just not your bag. That is totally and utterly fine with me. I love teaching the young students, and many of you will read the blog and listen to the podcast because you want ideas for that. But if that's not you, maybe you want to specialize in adult students, or at least have them be a good chunk of your studio. So if you are sold on teaching adult piano students, if you want that to be a big part of your business, you need to actively market towards them to try and attract adult students to your studio. I believe there are 3 big things that you can do in order to bring more adults into your studio. The first one is to simply talk directly to them. Think about it. Which of these services would you hire? Let's say you need a plumbing problem fixed in your house. So you have broken, faulty pipes and your shower isn't working. By the way, inside scoop, this isn't a random example. This exists in my house right now. So my shower is not working. And if I was to look for a plumber to fix my shower problem, who would I choose? Well, let's say I go to one plumber's website and she describes her journey through plumbing. She has a bunch of plumbing credentials that I've never heard of and don't know whether they're real. And then she explains the backstory of how she grew up with her dad plumbing and it's in her blood, and her dad has now sadly passed away from cancer, but she's continuing the family tradition of plumbing. It's all lovely, but I don't really know if she can fix my shower. Now we go to Plumber B's website, go back to Google, click the second result, and the next plumber says, right at the top, big bold letters, it says, "We'll fix your household plumbing annoyances and disasters. No mess, clear and simple pricing." So if I need my shower fixed, I'm feeling sticky and icky and horrible, and I'm having to go to neighbors' houses or friends' houses to use their shower, which feels weird. I want it fixed now, don't I? That's my need. And Plumber A sounds nice and all, but I'm kind of worried she's going to tell me all about her dad when she gets here, and maybe not be the most efficient plumber in the world, even with her backstory. Whereas the second one, they have that clear and simple pricing. They have a list on their website. I know how much they're going to charge. They have a flat rate. They promise to clean up their own mess when they're leaving. And I'm going to go with them. It's clear. And the thing they did was not just be clear, not just not talk about irrelevant details, but they talked about me, not them. The first plumber talked about herself, didn't she? She said, "Oh, my dad, and this is how I grew up, and these are my credentials, me. And the second plumber said, "We'll fix your household plumbing." And they spoke to my needs, no mess, clear and simple pricing. That's what I want. It's nothing to do with them. Now, looking for piano lessons is nothing like looking for a plumber. I need that one-off plumber to fix my shower. It's not an ongoing relationship. It's in a completely different realm. But the buying process is pretty similar. I have a problem, I need a piano teacher, and I need a solution. And I'm more likely to go to the person who talks to me. And for your adult students, talking to them means talking directly to them as adult students. Now, this shouldn't be the gross way. The gross way is where you say, "Hey, adult students," on Facebook. Exclamation point. Do you need a teacher who understands your needs? That's no, please don't do that. But you can talk directly to them and their issues. You can have a page on your website or a Facebook post that is specifically about what you do for adult piano students. You can orientate your homepage of your site, if you really want to get into this, to show you working with adult students or show them and their YouTube performances or whatever you're doing with them, instead of smiling, happy little kids at the piano. Because if that's not who you want to attract, that's not the image you want to portray. You need to put yourself in their shoes and think about their journey to choosing a piano teacher and what they want. They don't know about what those specific letters mean after your name. They don't know about the Music Teachers Associations. What they know is what they need in a teacher. They know that they want to enjoy this experience and have fun with it. They know probably what type of music they want to learn. So you need to speak to that. Explain that you'll follow what they want to learn. Explain a bit about how you approach adult piano lessons and how you keep it fun and friendly for them. Speaking of which, the next step is to slay their dragons. Adult students come with a lot of baggage. It's the truth. Adult students of anything, we all have it. And we have this baggage associated with education in general and with music lessons specifically. So the education in general baggage is about certain feelings we have around teachers and authority. Maybe that's to rebel against it. Maybe it's to cow down to it. Maybe it's that we automatically feel like a kid again. Teachers make us feel a certain way, and we have connotations in our head, or we don't, other people do, about what a piano teacher is and what they look like. So we have the picture with the stern piano teacher with their ruler at the ready and all of that. Adult students also come with a lot of baggage around their beliefs of their own abilities. Maybe they've been told they're tone deaf, maybe they've been asked not to sing in a school choir. I won't get on that soapbox again, but maybe that's happened to them. Maybe they've been told they're not musical or just come to believe that through experience. Maybe they're worried you'll judge their musical taste because they have a perception of us as being only about classical music and that that's the worthy music and we don't like pop and we don't believe that that's valid. Or maybe they think that learning a music instrument is easier when you're younger and it's just really too late, or they're silly for having this dream. Adult students come to you with any mix of those pieces of baggage along with them. If you put together some text on your website, if when you speak to adult students on the phone, in all your communications, if you address those dragons and demons, those concerns, before your adult students bring them up, you're going to win them over. If you explain these things up front, that you believe everyone is musical, that you make things fun and light and there's no rulers in sight, ha ha ha. If you explain that anyone can learn piano, you truly believe that, and that it's not actually easier for kids, but it is different and you have the expertise that they need to help them achieve success. And that you're more than happy for them to learn pop music or any type of music that they want, and you'll work with them towards that goal to help them achieve it. So you're addressing their concerns by, first of all, explaining that you hear them, that you see them, that you know what their worries are about lessons and why they feel that way, that it is valid, but that you have a solution to the problem. The final suggestion I have for you for attracting more adult piano students is one you may or may not want to take. This depends on how much you want to make your studio adult-centric. This is not something I do, but I know it works well for other teachers who really want to focus on this area specifically. And it's about your policies. I go on and on about no makeups and flat rate fees and all of this. And I believe if you're going to have a very mixed studio with just, adults being a small portion of that, stick to that. Don't have separate policies for adults. But if you want to go into teaching adults in a big way, you might want to change the way your studio works. Someone who does this very well is Tom Donald, who's at the London Contemporary School of Piano. And they put together these special packages. They even have people who fly in for an intensive course over the summer. And they have all these different ways of putting it together that works for adult students specifically. It helps them to schedule their own lessons and not feel like they're tied into a schedule that they just can't keep. And if you want to go into teaching adults in a big way, this is something to consider. I'm not going to say you have to do it or even say it's essential for having a studio filled with adults, but it's definitely going to be more attractive to adult students in many areas, in many communities where they travel for work, they cannot stick to your schedule. I would love to hear how you attract adult piano students to your studio. Will you let us know? Make sure to write in the comments over on the Colourful Keys blog, or if you're listening on the page right now, in the bottom of the post here. And if you're not listening on Colourful Keys, if you're listening in a podcast app, make sure to subscribe so that you get the next one of these as soon as it goes out. That's it for this week. I'll catch you next time. If you ever get overwhelmed by all the different teacher training options out there, Vibrant Music Teaching is the place for you. We nickname our members flamingos because they're masters of balancing all of the things and making it all work in a way that isn't overwhelming. We have tools to help you do that inside Vibrant Music Teaching. So go to vmt.ninja and sign up today.